Hi, ladies. How you doing? Second season. What does it feel like to be back, especially now that it seems like the second season's gonna up the stakes a little bit more in the show?
Mm. Oh yeah, a lot more. I mean, I think I feel like I speak for both of us maybe when I say that it was so easy to go back. It felt like we never left. Like it felt so easy, and I think we kind of got into the flow so much quicker this season, and we all knew how to like riff off of each other in terms of like comedy. We knew like what worked with different characters, and yeah, I'll take it over to Kaden, but I really, yeah, that's my take.
I am very beyond excited for the release of season two. The stakes are raised, lots of new drama, characters, fights. So it's a lot of exciting stuff for people to see.
Yeah, and especially for it being a family show, a kid show. It's fun. I love
Yeah.
season one and the way it was, and season two seems to be bringing back that fun, but also a little more of that super villain type of interaction, I guess you could say, without giving too many spoilers.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Oh, it's been hard. Trust me. We've been trying not to spoil everything, but it's very difficult.
Oh,
This
trust
season
me.
especially, it's harder not to spoil because so many of the like big plot points are just you can't even start to talk about it because so many of them involve new characters that if you start to
Yeah.
talk about it, then you spoil everything.
Yeah.
And that's always
Exactly.
the hardest part because it's like it's such a good this season starts off so well, and I think a lot of families are going to like it and get into it even more, but you can't really there's so much to go off of there. You can't really
Mhm.
say much because everything is so interconnected this season.
Mm.
Yeah.
but
Exactly.
but we
Which
gotta
I think
have.
speaks for a show. I mean, that's
Yeah,
good, right? For
yeah,
sitcom, like to have it be that interconnected and to have that many plot lines that interlink, like that's pretty good.
exactly. And that's the one thing we got to get into fun question wise. It's like, what is it like to play a villain? Because like everybody wants to be the superhero, but nobody ever wants to be a supervillain. But the villain always has the best stuff. So what does it feel like to play a villain?
I always love playing a villain, like in everything. And I felt like a lot of the times I had kind of always wanted to play the villain, but kind of got cast as not the villain. And so to get to finally like explore what it's like to just be evil, but in a fun way, I think it's just such a fun experience. I mean, Amy is literally also just a character that it's not even that she's evil, it's just she says what everyone's thinking all the time. She just lets it out and doesn't care. And to be able to do that, even if it's fake and on set, like even if it's in the scene, is the most freeing thing. It's so cathartic to get to play Amy. It's like you can just completely let loose. It's so fun.
Yeah. And Kayden, what is it like to be a part, as for your character, to be a part of that, to be mixed up with these villains?
Oh yeah, I mean for Hartley, I mean, of course now that she's used to it, she loves it and it's kind of a part of her daily life, I'd say, because she's literally with the Maddens all the time. But I will say at the beginning of season one, playing Hartley, I feel like it is something that she for sure had to get used to. I mean, she meets her new best friend, she ends up being a supervillain, and she's dragged along all of these crazy adventures and fights and picks up a lamp thinking that it's a gun because she just doesn't know. So she's kind of learning along the way with the family, and they're all learning together. I mean, the Maddens and Amy are teaching Hartley how to stand up for herself and just be a stronger person. And while Hartley is kind of teaching them how to be normal people and responsibilities and being kind and all of that. So that dynamic, I feel like, just really complements each other on the show, and people can really see that on the screen.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that I really love about your show, because there's not a lot of shows that really can attract kids, that really pulls in that whole family dynamic, that relates to kids, that can relate to adults. And I
Mhm.
think that's one thing that I love about your show, is that it really attracts to the whole family, and it can
That's
bring everybody together. How important was it when the show finally came out for season one and you saw these families just really enjoying the show?
it's amazing. I mean, it's the best feeling in the world. Like to have not only kids be messaging you, but to have their parents message you and say,
Yeah.
your show made a difference, in our family and our kids' life. Like it makes them more confident. It makes them, or kinder. People learn something. Every family, I think, learns something from a different character. But also, it kind of, I feel like we haven't had on TV like a really good family sitcom in a really long time. And so I think that it's important to keep that going because when I think of a show that comforts me and makes me happy, 99% of the time it's a sitcom. And like it brings so much joy to people. So I think yeah, it was really important for me, and it meant a lot to me that families, like as a whole, loved it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the one thing. Like I have a young niece who loves the show, and I watch it with her, and I'm just like, okay, I get it. I get it. This is like a really cool sitcom, a really cool show, and I love it. I think it's fun. It really attracts to a lot of audiences, and for a grown-up kid like me, if I like it, there's some good stuff into it.
Yeah.
Before we go, what can you tell the MUSE TV, the News by MUSE TV, and TN24 audience on what to expect this season from both of your characters?
Mhm.
You go first.
Okay. For Hartley, at least, I would say a lot of character development. I mean, I feel like personally, she's grown so much throughout this season from everything that she's learned from season 1, and Declan using her to get to the family and all of that. She's learned to build this wall up and protect herself. But I also feel like with the stakes being raised and there's a lot more fights and all of that, there's a lot of tension between her and Amy's relationship, and even with her family and her grandmother as well. So, that's definitely something to keep an eye out for when it comes to Hartley. But there's a lot going on season 2. All the stakes are raised.
Yeah. I think I think everything that you think about certain characters, like be ready for that to not be true, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of big kind of reveals about, people's past, or, like our family history. I won't say what it is, but there is a lot about that, and like the villain history. And then kind of exploring, I guess, new dynamics and new levels, I guess, in Amy and Hartley's, relationship, and kind of their ups and downs and how they get, even closer. And just I think a lot of like important life milestones are covered in this season.
For sure.
Yeah. Isabella, Kayden, thank you so much for stopping with us. We really appreciate it. And that's all I could really say. It's a really good show. Thank you so much. And that go-kart from last season, I really am looking for.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
The one that Malachi drove in the Christmas one?
Yes.
The one? It's sick.
So jealous.
Yeah.
He always gets to drive stuff around. Like he always gets the like cool props.
And he's the only one who didn't have a driver's license. So very confused. I was like,
yeah, it always seems to work that way.
Yeah, right? It's fine.
Exactly. So thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. You as well.
Yeah.